real estate, why we need to own real estate, all those good things. So we'll get started here in a few minutes. I'm going to tell my kids this is Baron Davis. This definitely is not Baron Davis, y'all. Definitely is not Baron Davis. Y'all got to excuse me. I just left the gym, got a late workout in. And so we're going to talk a little bit about real estate. Why are you advertising a white man clothing? Yo, y'all are miserable. Y'all are miserable, yo. All right, so we'll get started here in a second. Yo, so why real estate? The cost of money when it comes to real estate. And one of the many things that I'm learning is that people really don't know the cost of money. People really don't know the cost of money when it comes to real estate. And I'm actually going to break this down for everybody, and I'm going to simplify why you have to get in position with everything that's about to take place in this economy. I'm going to actually break down and give you some hardcore numbers. And I don't want you to believe anything I say. You can actually go and research this information. But I'm going to tell you why real estate. So now, first of all, I want to break down the benefits and why affluent people and why people who make a lot of money dump their money into real estate. Let me tell you why. So I can remember when I was working a 9 to 5, I used to work and sell internet advertising for Yellow Pages. I started in 2007 and worked there till about 2013. And the most I made at that job was about $110,000, which wasn't bad, considering I was a college dropout. Never really made more than about $40,000. I was in my late 20s, early 30s. And one of the things that I learned while I was there, even before, was that as long as you get earned income, you're going to be taxed at the highest rate. Okay? As long as you make earned income, what up, Mario? You're going to be taxed at the highest rate. What does that mean? That means people who are saying, hey, I make 6 figures, they're not bringing home 6 figures. That's actually their gross income. And I say gross stands for gross. It's gross because what you actually bring home is sickening. When you make about $110,000 to about $120,000, you're taxed probably about $25,000 to $30,000 of that. Let me say that again. And especially if you live in a state where they have state taxes. Again, let me say this again. If you are making 6 figures, starting right at about 100, you're paying about $25,000 in taxes. Okay. Now, people get up in arms with people who make 7 figures. And this is what blew me away. And this is also, too, why you got to pay for tax professionals. You can't keep going to H&R Block when you're making 7 figures. Credit is King took me to a 720 with no credit in 3 months. Appreciate you, bro. Mikey Max, thank you, man. If you guys are unfamiliar, I am a 2-time author. I am a TEDx speaker. My 2 books, Credit is King. And my 2nd book is Full-Time CEO, The Shit They Don't Tell You. So make sure y'all go and cop these books. I also have the audio version as well. And so people actually get up in arms. Are you going to teach us how to make money or how to invest in real estate tonight? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Okay. And so once I started making 7 figures, I was paying the same amount in taxes that I was paying when I was making 6 figures. Let me say that again. Once I started making 7 figures in business, I was paying the same amount in taxes that I was paying when I was making $110,000. And here's why. The money you make or the revenue you make from business or as an investor, you're at the lowest tax bracket. Well, not per se, but the bulk of how we make our money is through debt. Let me say that again. When you're making seven figures and you're a real estate investor or you invest in commodities, we look to earn our revenue through debt, whereas employees are looking to make their money through earned income. Earned income is taxed at the highest rate. Okay? Now, 95% of the global majority, and I'm looking at two cameras because I have YouTube, Facebook up here, and I have TikTok down here. 95% of the global majority has never completed a financial statement. They don't know what their income is. They don't know what their expenses are. They don't know what their liabilities are. They don't know what their assets, and they damn for sure don't have any cash flow. Your paycheck is not your cash flow. Your paycheck is your paycheck. It's called earned income. And when you are taxed on earned income, you're taxed at the highest bracket. So let me say this again. And then we're going to talk about why real estate and why you want to start getting positioned. Okay. When I was making $110,000 at this company where I was an internet advertiser, I was making about $110,000. This was after my commissions and everything else. And I was paying about $25,000 in taxes. For anybody who makes $100,000, go look at your tax rate. Go look what you're paying in taxes because you're at a 25% tax rate. So if you make $100,000, at minimum, you're paying $25,000 at minimum. Once I started making seven figures, I was still paying about the same. I was still paying about the same dollar amount because the bulk of my revenue comes from debt. And let me explain how that works. See, the way they structured it, they want to keep people asleep. They want to keep people broke. They want to keep people broken. See, the economy makes so much money they monetize off of the trauma of people. They monetize the trauma of most people. They tell them, hey, this is the American dream. If you don't work hard, you won't have the American dream. If you don't go to college and pay all of this money to go to school, which is college is a business, you won't amount to nothing. To work here to be a top cashier at this grocery store, you need a master's degree. This is the stuff that they tell people. Okay? And so, we're still helping people. You love to see it. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I love to help people. And so, when you are earning income versus making money off of debt, it's a completely different scenario. How do I purchase using business credit? Stay tuned. Because here's the thing. So now take person A who makes $100,000. Okay. And person B who has $100,000 in credit. Person A who puts their money in what I call the finesse savings account because the bank finesses you when your money is in a bank account. You don't make any money off of it. As a matter of fact, it costs you money to hold your money in a savings account. Think about that. It costs you money to keep your money in the bank. And then you can't even pull all of it out at once. But then what they do is they take your money, they go invest it and give you pennies on the dollar. I teach people how to go get $100,000 worth of debt, take that money, and now they become the bank. So they take that $100,000 from the bank, they go invest it and pay the bank back pennies on the dollar. But you got to learn these strategies. You have to learn these strategies. And so the person A who has $100,000 in earned income, they're taxed at 100%. They're taxed at a minimum 25% tax rate. Person B who has $100,000, and when I use the word debt, I'm talking about structured debt. That $100,000 I went and borrowed from the bank that I'm going to use to go and invest, that's going to make me money, I don't pay taxes on that $100,000. So for some of my clients who I've helped get $200,000, $300,000, shout out to my client David Selvin in Northern California who has over $2 million in credit. He pays no taxes on that. So imagine having a piggy bank that is worth $2 million that you can tap into tax free to be able to go out there and generate revenue and pay less taxes than a person who makes $100,000 a year. And if you get sick, or if God forbid you get hurt, you will no longer make 100,000, because you're only as good as is how hard you're willing to work or how long you can work. Whereas when you learn how to invest in real estate, I'll make money in spite of me. See, when you own real estate, the real estate is your bank. The real estate is your bank. You're not worried about what you have in a bank account. You're worried about your assets that you can draw against. Liquidable assets. This is why affluent people, this is why people who are looking to create and leverage their livelihood, they invest in liquidable assets or commodities that they can eventually borrow against tax free. Somebody type tax free in the chat for me, please. Because we're not being taught these strategies or concepts. Somebody type the word tax free in the chat for me. So here's how I want you guys to think about this. This is what I want you guys to think about. And I talked a little bit about this on Instagram yesterday and why you have to own real estate. And then I'm going to break down some numbers and why you want to get in position. Okay. So a lot of people during the whole pandemic lottery, as I call it, the lottery pandemic, when they were just giving money out to everybody. Hey, you get a stimulus check. Like everybody was getting stimulus checks. Everybody was forbearing their mortgages. That everybody didn't have to pay student loan debt. Money was affluent. You didn't have to pay rent. Like all of these different subsidies were taking place, and people got high off of not having to spend their own money. And so people got a false sense of security. People got a false sense of financial security. So people went out starting trucking companies. People were going out opening restaurants, food trucks, barbershops, Airbnbs. Well, not even owning the Airbnb, doing the arbitrage. They were just signing leases. They were doing all of these things that did not have an actual commodity attached to it. Okay. So one of my trucking clients, right now, he's hurting financially. He's in a bad place financially. And here's why. The trucking company has its ebbs and flows. The loads are getting cheaper. The competition is getting fierce. The expenses. If you have 3 trucks, your average insurance payment per truck may be $2,000 or $3,000 a month, depending on your credit score. So my particular client had 3 trucks. His insurance per month was $9,000. His insurance rate isn't determined by if he has a good month or a bad month. He has to pay that $9,000. His gas, his fleet to run the trucks per month for gas was about $17,000. The maintenance on a truck was about $6,000-$7,000 a month. He had to pay his employees. He had to put them up in hotels. He had to give them a per diem. He had all of these expenses. So when you hear these trucking companies, and no disrespect to anybody in the trucking space, because I also own an authority. I didn't want to own the trucks. I just wanted to own the business. So when you hear someone say, "Oh, I'm making $15,000 a month," ask them what their net is. And out of that $15,000, they may bring home $3,000. They may bring home $3,000. See, people like to create a mirage with the gross income. Can you get a loan on a mortgage home with bad credit? Depends on what you consider bad. If it's a 5 or 400, no. But there are strategies where you can purchase an investment property without using a bank. Okay? Without using a bank for investment purposes. I'm not a realtor, so I'm not here to talk to sell you a mortgage. I'm only talking from investment purposes. Okay. My friend had to close her trucking business. She had 6 trucks and lost everything. I see this all the time. I see this all the time. So here's what ends up happening. No, it's not through hard money lenders. So here's what happens. Because the trucking business that my client had was not a commodity based business, or it wasn't a hard asset, when things got tough, he had nowhere else to go to pull and get some money from. Okay. His trucking business was not an asset that he could borrow against. So it put him in a very bad position. His credit ended up getting ruined. He lost one of the trucks he couldn't even afford to maintenance it. To fix the engine was $20,000. See, nobody ever talks about the expenses of businesses. Going back to understanding what a financial statement is. If most people really broke down what is on their financial statement, they would see how bad they are in a financial state of ruin. But see, most people are so hypnotized because they live a life that is letting them feel comfortable. They can pay their bills. They drive a decent car. They take a couple trips once a year. They get a couple designer clothes. They can go to a nice restaurant every once in a while. But when they go home and sleep at night and they look in their bank account, they're disgusted. Nobody talks about this stuff. So my client, his trucking business was not a commodity to where he can borrow against it to help his business stay afloat. He actually had to pretty much let it go. Just like somebody said in the comments, he has a friend where she had to let her trucking company go. This is happening everywhere. But see, imagine, and this is what I told my client, imagine if you had to use some of that revenue from your trucking company, use some of the strategies that I teach on how to leverage credit, and started buying property, even if it's one property a year. Even if it's one property a year. No, it's not too late to start investing. So imagine if he had bought one property a year over 5 years. Okay, one property a year over 5 years. And let's say the average purchase price of that property was $50,000. So his all in for those 5 properties over 5 years is $250,000. Okay, so he bought all 5 of those properties. His all in cost is $250,000. Now the portfolio may be worth $400,000. So he paid $250,000 for the portfolio over 5 years. The portfolio is worth $400,000. So now when you own real estate, you can go and borrow against the $400,000 value of that real estate portfolio up to 80% tax free. So 80% of 400 is 320,000 that he can borrow tax free from that property. He can take that 320,000, put 100 into his business to help keep it afloat. Hopefully he or she is running it properly. And then the other 220, he can dump back into the real estate market and go and purchase more assets. And that $320,000, the debt servicing on that, which means how much it will cost him, it may cost him $2,500. Okay, let's say $3,000. But those 5 properties, let's say the average rent is $1,000. Out of those 5 properties, $5,000, and the service and the debt is $3,000. He's still up $2,000. So the money isn't even costing him anything. Where do you live that homes are $50K? Clearly not California. Great question. See, I don't buy in areas that are popular. I buy in areas that are profitable. So I live in Nevada and I don't even buy a lot of real estate here in Nevada because they're not profitable. When people heard the Raiders were coming to town, everybody was jumping and trying to buy properties, and most of them are not profitable. I like to invest in the Midwest because you can buy a property in the Midwest for $50,000 and get $1,000 a month in real estate. See, a lot of people are trying to buy because California is near the water. A lot of people are trying to buy because Atlanta is popping or whatever people come up with. I buy where it's profitable. You don't have to live in a city where you own real estate. 90% of my portfolio is not even in the state that I live in or reside in. Most of my properties I've never even seen before because I've built a team. Ohio is, I own properties in East Cleveland. But because we haven't been taught these things, because people have an emotional attachment, oh, I got to be able to drive past the house. Why? As long as the checks get deposited on the first of the month, I don't care if the property is on the moon. If it's profitable, I'll buy a tent. But people have an emotional attachment to stuff. People have to feel the property. Why? I don't care. My realtor, my property manager, they run that. My home inspector. So I don't have to see the property. I don't even care what it looks like. No different than when I buy a business. I don't start new businesses. I buy businesses that are already making money. Same way I do with my real estate. I buy properties that are turnkey, that are making money. So if my trucking client had been doing and focusing on the strategies that I told him to do 5 years ago, he wouldn't be in this financial debacle. Period. But because we haven't been taught these things by design, because we've been selling Big Mama house, because of what's called instant gratification. We want the upfront check. We don't want the long-term money. Give me the money to where I don't have to work the rest of my life. I've been retired for the past 7 years because I've learned these strategies. And when I say, I'm saying the word retired being facetious. Because where we're headed now economically, most people won't be able to retire. Because most of the time when people retire, they have to end up spending their golden years at their golden arches. Period. Unfortunately. Because people haven't planned properly. People have not planned properly. And this is why I love real estate. So, over the next 12 to 18 months, values will continue to go down. Values on real estate will continue to go down. I don't buy in New York. Again, people like to buy in popular areas. I go where people are least expecting it, but they're profitable. Buying power has decreased 40% when it comes to real estate. Now, a lot of people are like, is it a good time to buy because interest rates are high? And for a lot of people who don't know, Airbnb is crumbling right now. Airbnb is crumbling. Here's what a lot of people don't know. People think the rates are expensive, but historically they're actually not. And I'm going to break that down. If you would like to know why real estate rates can still be profitable when you understand how to purchase the right way, I need to get to 15 shares and 3,000 likes. If you would like to know why real estate is still good to buy, even where the interest rates are right now, I need to get to 15 shares and 3,000 likes. $15 shares and 3,000 likes on TikTok. All right, we have 14 shares, 3,000 likes. We need one more share on TikTok. We need one more share. Boom. Why is Airbnb crumbling? I'll tell you why. Airbnb is not a commodity. Airbnb is not a commodity. See, most people invested in Airbnb doing what's called arbitrage, meaning they don't own the asset. Most states have changed the Airbnb laws. Like in Nevada, in Las Vegas, everybody was like, oh, the Raiders are coming. Let me get this property for Airbnb. First of all, you got to have a license. You can't be within 1,000 feet of another Airbnb. And what's the other one? And it actually just became legal in Clark County back in July. I went and looked at 4 potential Airbnb properties, and all of them were operating at a net negative. Now, I'm not saying Airbnb isn't profitable, but if you're just doing a bunch of sandwich leases, what do you do when HOA shuts it down? What do you do when the owner was like, "Oh no, we're changing this up"? What do you do in certain cities? There in Atlanta, as a matter of fact, Airbnb got wildly popular. You can only have 2 Airbnbs, and one of them has to be your primary residency. So Airbnb is crumbling, on top of the fact that as there's less discretionary income, people stop traveling as frequently. Now, I'm not saying that there's no money in Airbnb. That's not what I'm saying, but it's not as profitable as it used to be, especially where we're headed economically. People have to still travel to these cities in order for your Airbnb to be profitable. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. You just need to start planning for the long term. And nobody thinks about this because we want that upfront check. But let me tell you guys why money is still cheap and why we are still at a historical low. Let me give you guys some data. You can go and pull these figures. As a matter of fact, I highly recommend you do, because documentation beats conversation. So now, right now, and don't quote me because I'm not a realtor. I'm not a mortgage lender. I'm just an investor. All right. The interest rates right now are probably, I think, at about 8%. Okay. So now, on top of the 8%, we're dealing with inflation. Okay. Let me tell you why you're going to want to be in real estate and how simple it is, how simple it's going to be to get access to real estate. Okay. Inflation right now is at about 9%. Okay. It's at about 9%. During the Jimmy Carter era, it was like at 17%. Okay. 6 point. Okay. I don't know where the rates are because I don't buy based off of rates. I buy my property based off of profitability. I don't look at the interest rate. Okay. So now let's say we're at 7 to 8%, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. Did you know in 1981, the interest rates were 16.6% on a mortgage? And that's with A paper, meaning you had great credit. Says it's a factor in profitability or cash flow. That's only halfway true. It's halfway true. And the reason I say that, because you can buy a property where your interest rate is at 7% and it's still profitable. You just have to find the right deal. And see, I don't buy market value. I buy below market value. I only buy off market deals. That's why I need y'all to stay with me. Stay with me. I know y'all want to throw in some cute little jabs, but stay with me. Trust me, this is what I do. This is what I do, but I appreciate the advice. Off-market deals are deals that are not on the MLS. They're not listed by a realtor, so I'm not bidding with 15 other people. I buy properties that are below market value, meaning if the property is worth 100, I'm getting it at 70 to 80,000. And it's a strategy behind those. It's a strategy behind that. So in 1981, interest rates were 16.6%. 16.6%. In 1984, interest rates were 13.8%. 1984, 13.8. In 1985, interest rates were 12.4%. 12.4%. In 1990, interest rates were 10%. 10%. In 1990, interest rates with A credit was 10%. In 1992, interest rates were 8.3%. 8.3%. Okay? In 1999, interest rates were 7.4%. 7.4%. Okay. 2005, interest rates went to 5.8%. It went down. So now this is what started to happen. They signed a bill and dropped interest rates to a historical low. Now, especially in the black community, a lot of blacks are first generation homeowners. So they never had to witness the cost of money back then. Because keep in mind, these interest rates affect credit card payments, auto loan payments, all of these things. So most first generation homeowners didn't have to bear the burden of money being this expensive. So that 3.5%, that 2.9%, that was in 2021, that was a historical low. And it was at 3.5% historically from about 2008 or 2007, 2008, all the way up until 2022. Historical low. So even with rates being at about 6 to 8%, it's still historically low. Now, here's where a factor does play into play. Inflation is higher. See, so during the first housing market crash, inflation was at about 2 to 4%. Right now, we're at 9.2%. Now, follow me. Here's why you want to learn these strategies that I teach. During 2006, 2007, for every dollar made by a wage earner, that means someone who has a W-2 job, okay, the average mortgage was an 8x for every dollar made. The average mortgage was an 8 times multiple for every dollar made. 60% of Americans make less than $47,000 a year. I'm not talking about combining households. I'm talking about an individual. 60% of individuals make less than $47,000 a year. The average entrepreneur, small business, makes less than $30,000 a year. Okay, so for every dollar that a W-2 wage earner makes, the average mortgage in 2006, 2005, 7, where it was when it went to a peak, was about an 8x multiple. Right now, for every dollar made for a wage earner, this is meaning the people who make less than 6 figures, make less than the top 5 income producing earners, the average mortgage is 8.5x for every dollar made. For every dollar made, the average mortgage payment, the average mortgage is 8.5% multiple. Coupling that with inflation being at the height of where it's at, you now are running the risk of people who bought at the top of the market. Even though interest rates were at 2.9%, people overpaid. I just told you, values will go down over the next 12 to 18 months. If you guys don't know who Michael Burry is, go research and Google the name Michael Burry. And I promise you, you're gonna wish you can find somewhere to learn as much as you can about real estate investing. I promise you. Go research who Michael Burry is. So, because people bought at the height of the market, okay? Because people because of inflation, people are not as affluent. All of the free money that they were giving, all of these subsidies have run out. People, forbearances on their mortgage, the loan is coming due. People who didn't have to pay student loan debt for the past 2 years. Now you're going to have to start paying these balloon payments on all of this forbearance that the government has done for you. So now people are going to start losing their properties. Because when the interest rates go up on the mortgages, their credit card payments go up. If they're going to go buy a vehicle, the auto loan payment goes up. Because interest affects every category of debt that you borrow, especially when it is called unstructured debt. Everybody type in the chat, unstructured debt. If you only have unstructured debt, that means money that you borrow to get debt that does not make you money. Michael Burry is the guy from The Big Short. Absolutely. This has nothing to do with the government helping anybody. This has to do with educating yourself. This is why people stay broke. They be worried about the wrong things. I'm trying to tell you guys why you want to know the difference of structured debt and unstructured debt. See, people stay broke because they have a broken mentality. See, I have a 4-step methodology of building wealth. And that's mindset, credit, understanding finances and the cost of money, and asset building. Finances and the cost of money are in the same bucket. See, most people mindset is so jacked up because they've been broken. They've been used to trauma. Most people have been so financially ruined and so mentally ruined that everything that they look at in life, they're looking for the negative. If the sun is too bright, people will have a bad attitude because it's bright outside. I remember when I first was getting ready to move to Las Vegas. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And this young lady told me, "Why would you go to Vegas? It's always sunny out there." And as I think back and as I'm learning all of these lessons in life and learning how to work with people, people have such a broken mindset and broken mentality. The things that can save their lives, they will find a reason to operate against it. So please teach me. I have equity, 300,000, but I have no proof of income. Well, you need to reach out to my team. See the link in my bio. And I don't know your entire situation. Y'all need to cop Will's book, Credit is King. He gives a lot of game. Got it back in 2019. Appreciate that. Yes. Appreciate that. To join, go follow me on Instagram at Mr. Will Roundtree. Send me a DM. And my team will, and you can book a free strategy call with my team. King, crab legs and Louis Vuitton will keep you broke. All of that will. But here's the thing. It's not about crab legs and Louis Vuitton. If you are affluent and can afford it, see, my real estate service is my lifestyle. Last year, I went to the Super Bowl. This is the NFT light from the halftime show. I think I still got the tickets. Let me see. Let me put y'all up on some game. So last year I went to the Super Bowl. Okay? For those who want to see. I went to the Super Bowl last year. Okay? Y'all want to know how I was able to go to the Super Bowl? Through debt, revenue, structured debt. See, when you own real estate, when you own businesses, when you own commodities that you can borrow against, it finances the lifestyle that you want to live. But when you only have earned income, and that earned income barely is enough to support the lifestyle that you currently have to live, but then you're trying to live a lifestyle where you want to look richer than you are, this is why people are broke. So it's not necessarily about crab legs and Louis Vuitton. It's because people aren't in position. People don't even know the difference between their gross and net income. This is why people are broke. And they're broke because they're broken mentally. Broke is not just financially. People are broke mentally. People's mindset is jacked up. For those who don't follow me, go follow me on Instagram at Mr. Will Roundtree. Last year, I bought a bank building. That's right. I bought an actual bank. I owned the building, 5,200 square feet. Paid $120,000 from this. And the building was not in good condition, but I had the foresight in knowing where the value could go with that building. Okay, I had the foresight of knowing the value. Okay, The building is 5,200 square feet. I know at minimum I can get $1 a square foot. I put 85,000 into the building. Okay. Again, remember, I own it tax free. So now, where did I get the 85,000? For those who want to know, how do you use business credit? So now, the 120,000 I pulled from my lines of credit. I pulled the 120,000 from my lines of credit. The 85,000 to rehab it, I borrowed it from my other real estate portfolio. I borrowed 157,000 from two of my properties. Okay, I pulled 100. Go look on my Instagram. I posted the check. So can't nobody say this is cap, because a lot of real estate gurus be capping. But go follow me on Instagram. All of this is documented. Okay, I pulled 157,000 from two of my properties. That 157,000 cost me $1,800 a month. $1,800 a month to service that debt. The two properties, one of them rent for $1,200, one rents for $1,150. So one of the properties damn near services most of the debt. So I'm still net profitable from the debt servicing of the money I borrowed. So the 157,000 I borrowed, I put 85 of that into my building. Now my building is worth $500,000. I own it free and clear. And now I can borrow up to 400,000 tax free. Pay off the line of credit, and the 400,000 may cost me $3,000, but my building rent is minimum $5,000 on a triple net lease, which means they pay the taxes, utilities, all of that stuff. So this is what I mean by structured debt. The debt that I use to purchase the building, the debt I use to put into the rehab, the tenant service the debt, so it never costs me any money. This is why we have to learn mindset, credit, finances, and assets. It's not hard, y'all. What's hard is the discipline. What's hard is people not wanting to fix their credit. It may take you 2 years to fix your credit. What's hard is people are too busy paying attention to all of the other people online or in their community who really don't got it. And they've painted a picture of what they told you that your life should look like, but their life don't even look like that. So now you get impatient and you start operating out of desperation. And now you want to try to flip real estate. You want to do all of these things that make no money and have no commodity attached to it. So this is why people are broke. Because they're mentally broken. I need y'all to follow me on Instagram. DM me REI. REI, real estate investing, is what that stands for. Book a free call with my team. See, you're going to want to know these strategies. There's about to be a lot of properties that are about to be on the market. I'm going to give you guys one quick strategy, because I can't give y'all everything on this live. I got to get some rest. I just left the gym. REI, not RUI, REI. Now, I actually posted a video on my Instagram. I went live on Instagram, and I have a property that I'm looking at. I'm going to act broke until I make 10 million. I posted a video on my Instagram. I went and looked at a property that's worth about $380, and I'm about to purchase it for $47,000. Let me say that again. A property that's worth $380, and I'm about to purchase it for $47,000. If you would like to know the strategy that I'm about to put together to purchase a property that's worth $380,000 for $47,000 or whatever, it's about probably closer to 49. If you would like to know that strategy, I need to get to 10,000 likes and 50 shares. I'm about to give y'all a concept that is going to make people a lot of money over the next 12 to 18 months. Okay? If you want to know the concept that's going to make people extremely wealthy over the next 12 to 18 months, I need to get to 50 shares and 10,000 likes. I need to see if y'all really about this life, or if y'all just bored and y'all just so happen to fall on my page. While y'all get those likes up, I'll take some questions. While y'all get those likes up, I'll take some questions. Just like your example of number 2, men that get off the plane to sell shoes, perception is everything. Absolutely. You got us in the gym tonight with these lines. Man, do you own any Airbnbs? No. I mean, all my properties I own. I do have one condo that sometimes I rent out, but it's actually another business model concept that's about to put Airbnb to shame. And if you go watch my video on Instagram, I talk about it. It's about to put Airbnb to shame. Do you work with wholesalers out of the Midwest? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I love working with wholesalers. I'm a single father of 3 teenage boys. I am all ears. Well, welcome. How do you find off MLS deals? Because I work with wholesalers. I work with wholesalers. And my realtor is an investor-friendly realtor. I only work with realtors who are investor friendly. I really need to hop on that subject too, bro. Crown, hit me up. What locations do you buy in? Anywhere where the deal makes sense. I don't just focus on one area. All right, we have 10,000 likes. I need 50 shares. We need 10 more shares. Thank you. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Chewbacca 1. Chewy Chewbacca 1. Are you a real estate brother? I'm a real estate investor. I'm not a realtor. I'm not sure if that's what you were trying to ask me. I'm not a realtor. All right, we need 8 more likes. 8 more shares. How do you produce income with your authority? Because I hire drivers. I bring in owner operators, and they use my authority. I don't want to drive. I don't even want to own the trucks. It's too much maintenance. Have you ever vested in Connecticut? No, but if you got some deals, send them to me. They got to make sense though. They got to make sense and sense. We appreciate the information that you give out. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we need 2 more shares. Man, I love y'all here on TikTok. Y'all about that life. What percent should I charge? I'm not sure what your question is. Come on, y'all. I need 2 more shares. We need 50. We are building a big trade line group for high trade lines, 100K to 1 mil. Good stuff. All right, boom. So now, man, y'all on it. Somebody's like, yo, you got 50, man. Come on. All right. So I pretty much gave y'all the front end of the play. Okay, I gave y'all the front end of the play. People are about to be upside down in their mortgages. And I think we have a mortgage broker on here. People are about to be upside down on their mortgages. So this is what I propose. See, one of the biggest things that I need everybody on here to learn is how to structure a deal. Not just a real estate deal, but a deal, period. You have to learn how to structure deals, because here's the thing. When you know how to structure a deal, somebody is always willing to make a deal with you, especially when it's a win-win. Excuse me. So let me tell you the win-win in this situation. So this client, upside down, mean they actually are behind on their payments, or the property is worth less than what they owe. The property is worth less than what they owe. So this particular property I went and looked at, she's behind $40-something thousand on her mortgage. She's behind $40-something thousand on her mortgage, and she's just going to lose the property. Okay. So now my wholesaler brought me this deal, because I don't go out there and do that. I got other stuff. I'm running businesses. I got my team. I got to go to the gym. I got my son. So I don't have time to do wholesaling. I work with great wholesalers who bring me deals. Okay. This person is behind $40-something thousand on her mortgage. The payoff is about $250. but the property is worth 380. So I proposed a deal to the seller and said, hey, well, let me paint the rest of the picture. Okay. She was about to go through a realtor, and the realtor was going to sell her property for her and charge her a 5% commission. Okay. She owes $253. The realtor was trying to sell it for $295. The property wasn't selling because it needed quite a bit of work. Okay. Needed quite a bit of work. So the average home buyer doesn't want to buy something where they got to come in and put that amount of work in. Okay. So now they brought me the deal. I spoke with the homeowner and I said, look, after taxes, realtor fees, and the money you're going to have to put into the property, you're going to walk away with nothing. You're probably going to lose money. Let me say that again. She was selling it for $295. She owed $253. After realtor fees and taxes and paying back the back mortgage. Because remember, she owes like 40-something thousand. She's going to walk away with nothing. And she would have had to put about $15,000 into the property. So she would have been at a net negative. And her credit is already screwed up. Her credit is bad because she hadn't made a mortgage payment. So I get on the phone with her and I say, and I position it. And I even recorded the call. Go follow me on Instagram, y'all. Matter of fact, I think the recorded call is even on my TikTok. So make sure you go through and I need y'all to blow that video up because I gave y'all some free game on a phone call that I did with the actual client. So y'all know this ain't no cap. The call is on my TikTok and on Instagram. So I said, look, you're not going to make any money on this deal. Let me give you $3,000. I will pay the back pay, but you give me the property. Okay, I'm going to give you $3,000. I'll cover the back pay. I'm going to take over the property. I'm going to rehab it. We're going to do everything through title. It's going to go under my LLC. It's going to cost me, I just got the quote today. It's going to cost me about $15,000 in rehab. So I'm going to be all in at about $65,000 into this property that's worth $380. All I'm going to do is refinance it. But here's the even better play. That $65,000 is only going to cost me less than $1,000 a month. I could rent it out for $1,800 a month. But I actually have a different play I'm going to use for it. I'm not going to tell y'all what it is today. So if you're not following me, you're not going to know what's about to take. That's about to give Airbnb a run for their money. They've actually beta tested this in several different markets. But I'm not renting it out for $1,800. I'm actually going to make about $4,700 a month off this property. But to learn how I'm going to do that, y'all gotta follow me. But bottom line, it doesn't matter. The tenants are going to service the debt. I have a new asset that I'm only in $65,000 that's worth $380. See, the reason a lot of people lose and why they miss out on opportunities is because they don't know what a profitable deal looks like. Most people don't even know that across all investment vehicles, the average ROI is 3 to 5%. 3 to 5% is the average ROI. I need y'all to follow me here on TikTok. Go on Instagram. I got over 200 something videos on my YouTube. Make sure y'all follow me. I got a bunch of free videos on YouTube. Make sure you follow me on LinkedIn. Stay tuned. See, this is the side of TikTok that nobody's really talking about. People only get on here and tell y'all how to go get net 30 credit cards that aren't even credit cards when they talk about building business credit. This is why y'all got to follow me, because I'm going to teach y'all the real game. That's why my book is called Full-Time CEO, the shit they don't tell you. Because I'm going to tell y'all the stuff that people are scared to tell y'all. And I'm going to tell you why they scared to tell you. They scared to tell you because if they tell you, they can't make money off of the ignorance or the lack of information. And ignorance just means that you don't know. See, my goal isn't to sell the most courses. My goal is to help people get in properties. My goal is to help people grow their businesses. Now, do I have courses? Absolutely. And you should buy them. But I own real estate. I own businesses. So I don't have to hide or hide information from you guys. I don't have to sell you on the fake business credit programs that really don't help you get to the next level. Net 30 cards don't help you get hundreds of thousands in credit. I'm sorry. ROI should be greater than 10%. Tom Ford buys houses. You must be a wholesaler. You must be a wholesaler. Yes, both books are on Audible. Credit is King, as well as Full-Time CEO, is on audible.com. So if you would like to book a free call with my team tomorrow, send me a message. Follow me on Instagram. DM me the letters REI. DM me the letters REI, and someone from my team will reach out to you, and you can book a free strategy call with my team, free discovery call. Go get the books. Both of them are on Amazon. They're both on audible.com. Go on YouTube. Check out my TED Talk. Got a bunch of information out there. We got social proof. I was actually one of the first people in our community talking about credit on the internet back in 2015 and 16. So make sure you follow me. As always, I appreciate you guys going down this journey with me. My guy is outstanding contractor, bro, and got a whole team. He'll fly out. Oh yeah, send me your contractors. Let me see. Got a whole team that he'll fly out, and he can get all of the materials and do the work. But he wants to partner up for a cash flow deal. Is that a good move, you think? I'm not sure. I need to know what all of the numbers look like. My Instagram is Mr. Will Roundtree. Basically the same handle on TikTok is my handle on Instagram. Mr. Will Roundtree. It's the exact same handle. Follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe all across the board. If y'all thought this was some heat, I got way more than this. I'm hosting a free webinar January 19th. So you got to subscribe. Go to my website, subscribe to my mailing list, opt into our text message campaign. Yeah, hit me up tomorrow, Crown. Opt into our text message campaign. I'm hosting a free webinar January 19th. January 19th, I'm hosting a free webinar. I'm possibly going to do an event in Las Vegas January 21st. So if you want to come to Vegas and hang with me for a day, I'm hosting a free webinar. I may even make the event free. Like, yo, let me tell y'all how much I give away. My team is on here now. They probably is like, Will, can you stop giving stuff away? I used to host an event called Cocktails and Credit. A couple people then stole the name, but I own the trademark. Go and look up the trademark. I own the trademark. And I was doing pop-ups across the country, flying my whole team out, bringing in attorneys, realtors, contractors, home inspectors, tax professionals. And these were free events. I was hosting free events all across the country for the past 4 years. So again, I do this because I genuinely enjoy educating people. It's not a money grab for me. Because here's the thing. When you understand the 4 steps the 4-step methodology, mindset, credit, financing, and assets, I can go to the bank and get 100,000 because I know what to do with the 100,000. So I'm not tripping. My blessings come from blessing other people. Crown said, cocktails and credit changed my life. I'm telling y'all, stay locked in. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate all of the love. The website is wemanagementservices.com. But if you go to my social media, you can go right to the links, because trying to say the domain phonetically, sometimes people hit the wrong button. So if you just follow me on social media, click the links in any of my bios, it'll take you directly to my website. I got a ton of digital content. Matter of fact, I'm offering a 50% discount, which is the Black Friday sale, which ends tomorrow at midnight. So you can still go and get some of my ebooks, get some of my digital products. I mean, we have stuff on there as low as $20. My Credit is King book, which is $20, have made people hundreds of thousands of dollars just with the content in there. So again, make sure you guys follow, make sure you tap in, make sure you support. And until then, I will